Hey guys, it's Aurora with LA Nidra. I hope you're having a good weekend. Um, I saw this quote. I don't know who said it, but it was on Jason L. Silva's, or it is on Jason L. Silva's Instagram. It says, "True self care is not soft baths and chocolate cake. It is making the choice to build a life you don't need to regularly escape from." Oh, that's so deep. And there's so many facets to that. As I've been sitting in my quietude, I've been getting in touch a lot with my own impulses and like um what is making me happy and where I can be with myself. And um and really it's pretty simple. The things I like to do, yoga, though I haven't been doing a whole lot of it lately. I did it last night and I was like, oh, my body was like, oh, thank God. Um, Meditation, reading, creating things. Those are the places where I get like drawn in and I feel good. I feel like in flow. But, it isn't all the time that I know, that I have known. There's been so many distractions and things that I like fill my space and my psyche with, that I've gotten very like too multitasking, too many things to manage, too many things to make happen. And then I don't know what's what. Like I get burnt out. So I'm looking at that and looking at like where I am distracting myself. And most of the biggest one for me is relationship, like love relationships. And just looking at my sort of patterns in that arena. um I do this thing. I'm empathetic. I'm an empath of sorts, and so I feel what other people feel pretty intensely. The one thing that I recognize that I do um is one, if I don't fulfill something for myself, like the voice of I'm not enough, I'm not good enough is very loud. It's everywhere. And so it stops me from fulfilling a lot of things that I would like to do. It just pulls me back and I go and hide. And I do this with videos all the time. I did it for a very long time with after I sort of started this YouTube channel and then stopped it. I was like, who am I to say all this stuff? Oh my God, I'm putting myself out there so much. Um, and I ran. And that's okay. It's okay to do that, but I'm seeing this as the pattern. So what I'm noticing is I exist a lot in that sort of like deeper shadowy place of like not feeling good enough. And so what I do is I use connection to other people to fulfill that. Something that I do is when I'm with others, especially when it's like a love relationship, I use their excitement about being with me to lift myself up, to get myself out of that space. But the problem is like, and because I'm empathetic, then it feels like my own. What I've seen myself do is make choices from that place instead of asking myself, what does Aurora really want? Is Aurora really interested in this person? Are Aurora's boundaries really clear? No. So I've been cultivating getting in touch with Aurora and like what she knows. And there are three ways that we can be in touch with ourselves. There's through the mind. We can analyze, we can be scientific about stuff, we can reason things out. This is the logical thing to do, so this is what I'll do. That kind of thought. There's from the heart, which is like, what does your heart want? Is your heart, are you drawn to something? Do you want to do this? Are you drawn to this through your heart? Do you love this thing? What are your feelings about it? That texture or that body, the emotional body. And then, of course, you have your intuition, or what Jumana Sophia calls the womb, um, which is where you check in and you get other information. And it might not make sense, like if you have a purple sphere, bubble sphere that comes up in your visual, in your vision, in your womb, and it pops, um, you find the feeling sense around it, like, oh, right, that feels like when I was a kid, and um, and that color purple, right, is like reminded me of Barney. I really liked Barney, and the excitement, the bubble popped, right? So that's a message. That's the interpretation of the message I'm giving you. So you take those things like the message, the symbol, the intuitive or womb information. You take your heart information and you take your mind information and you nest them together to create what your next move is, what your knowing is. As I've been in this practice and checking in with these three centers of myself, I have a much stronger sense of like, what is for Aurora? And a lot of things are not for Aurora. Just as a lot of things might not be for you either. So I'm cleaning up, okay, what is for Aurora? Where does she not believe in herself? Where does she hate herself? Where are those shadowy places where she doesn't feel good about herself? And then looking at that and saying, okay, let's pull that away, and what's behind it? What's under it? What's the knowing underneath of it? Accessing that nesting of the mind, heart, and intuition. And making an answer or finding excitement about something from there. Oh, hello, computer. I'm looking at my relationships to my animals too, and I love them. And I just adore animals. They're just great and pure and trustworthy and just lovely. And I realize I do that empathy thing with them too, where it's like, oh, they're really excited or cute or whatever. And I love them and I get attached to them. But I'm also like, my soul is really, really tired. I've been caretaking for, I don't know, since 2013, senior sick animals essentially. And I keep doing it and I don't mean to. It's just happening. And there is part of me that is really over it. And I hate saying that, but like, fudge nugget. I'm exhausted. And I'm realizing the disconnect between myself, what Aurora wants and needs. We're going back to that quote, right? True self-care is not soft baths and chocolate cake. It is making the choice to build a life you don't need to regularly escape from. And figuring out what are the choices that I need to make so that I can be more present with myself and life and be able to give from a place that's purer instead of out of neediness because of lack of what? Lack of self-love. Do you resonate with any of this? Am I talking crazy pants stuff here? Talk to me, please.